Culture Crew. Finding the terrible, so you don't have to. Welcome to Bad Culture Crew, the premier source for the terrible. We're so glad you've joined our journey into this week's best of the worst media. Please take a moment to get comfortable, grab your favorite alcoholic beverage, and prepare for some hilarious fucking bad. This is Bad Culture Crew. Finding the terrible, so you don't have to. Presenting your hosts, Austin Daniels and Steve Nevels.
Oh, thank you so much, Wendy. This is the Bad Culture Crew. We do find the terrible so you don't have to. My name is Austin Daniels. I'm sitting alongside, as always, the high ancestral priest, the Reverend Steve Nevels. God bless you, Steve.
You mean, did you say incestual priest?
The ancestral priest, the Reverend.
Incestual. Reverend.
Yes.
As in, I like to have relations with my family members.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes. Yes, it is.
You know,
Your Holiness.
Yeah, I was going to say, not only do I enjoy, not only is that illegal, but when has it ever stopped me from any sort of illegal activity before?
Yes.
I like to have a good time with at family get-togethers, family reunions.
Mm-hmm.
In the bushes, behind the trees, in the woods.
Okay.
Banging family members. That's what I'm talking
You're
about.
also a priest that does that, too.
That's fine. That has nothing to do with it.
I thought
I appreciate if you don't bring that up.
I thought you married off a lot of people that wanted to have sex with their cousins and shit.
Well, it can't be like cousins. It's got to be like more direct family than that. Like you want to marry like your brother. That's fine with me. You know, I officiate more of that than I do like the cousin thing, because it's like I've seen so many episodes of reality shows where people end up marrying their cousins.
Actually fine.
A couple months back, there was an MTV True Life story, and it was titled "I'm Having My Cousin's Baby," and there was two separate stories, people who legitimately married their cousins, and they had like 4 kids together. It was fucked up.
There was this weird episode of Community on the last season on Yahoo where they did the marrying your cousin episode, and the guy at the end of it does this, like the writer for the episode. Somebody played the writer, for it, but he wrote this out.
Was it the writer?
No, it was the writer
That's
wrote
stupid.
it, but they had an actor play the writer. And
Why did they just have the writer do it?
Because they're not actors.
Well, that's dumb.
Yeah, no, they're not like multi-talented men like you are, Steve. Okay?
Well, he's got to get on the ball.
And he basically made all these really actually legitimate points for marrying your cousin. Like there's like the really low chance that you would ever like have any retarded kids or anything like that, or deformities or anything. And it's actually totally fine.
It doesn't make it any less weird.
It does make it weird. It's still fucking weird.
Fucking stupid.
I don't want to marry my cousin.
Why would you?
I don't know. It's like... Yeah, like part of like
keep it in the family.
No.
Yes, absolutely.
No.
Keep the blood pure.
Who wants to be around their family? Who?
Well, I'm just saying, like in that particular episode of True Life, because I watched the True Life episode.
Yeah,
see.
that's only classy. Shows
I only
for
watch classy programming on television, and
weirdo.
Let me tell you, it really put a strain on the rest of the family when they were like,
yeah.
It makes it tough. Like, nobody wants to come around us and see us. Nobody's been around to see the kids. It makes us feel real isolated and ostracized from the rest of the family. I'm like, you think?
Yeah, what are the kids
You fucking
doing?
weirdos?
So, yeah, like, who are the kids supposed to be attracted to?
Each other, maybe?
Ew.
I mean, yeah, because if they do go to family reunions, it's like they're cousins.
Now, who knows here, Jimmy? You might meet your future wife.
I don't know how that family tree works after that point.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, just like
Just all kinds of fucked up.
Like it's like it spreads out and then it turns into a V, like this.
Is that's the
because
image?
it funnels it and they just come like this, and then they become one person. Science.
So eventually, you just end up fucking your siblings. Is
yes.
what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
That's good. So then, what are you? Do you like become like your uncle to yourself and stuff? Is all these weird relationships with yourself, like cousin wife? Like, what is that about?
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Cousin wife?
I haven't sat down and put it on paper yet, but I plan on doing that next week.
Yeah, we definitely need that.
Now, the reason we bring up incest is because if you haven't seen the news in the last couple days,
Sure.
there is a son and a mother that live in Detroit.
So fucking weird.
And they reconnected. The mother gave up the son at birth when she was 19, And now, 30 years later, he found her, they reconnected, and they started banging each other. And now they're like in love, and they want to run away and get married, and they want to have a baby. But incest is illegal here.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
I want to know like how that started. It's like was the guy making the move?
Who makes the move?
Yeah, like what happens in the incest
So
relationship?
bizarre.
Like I need the
How
etiquette.
does that fucking shit even come up in conversation?
Yeah. And then like why would you want to?
We were
somebody
saying
step in?
we were saying earlier today. That's how bad the dating scene is. Like when you have to start asking your mom out on dates. It's like, Mom, would you like to maybe go out, grab something to eat sometime? Maybe I'll take you back and we can Netflix and chill.
Yeah, right. Or you know what's funny is like that age-old like insult where it's like, oh, you went to prom with your mom, and now it's like,
Oh, dude, I heard that you're banging your mom, and the guy's like, yup,
yeah.
totally am. And
Oh
guess
my
what?
God.
And they say it's the best sex they've ever had. It's in the article. They have admitted that, and I'm like, well.
Edipedal sex is the best sex they've ever had.
And I'm like, well, for the guy, obviously, because it's the only sex he's ever had. So, I mean, of course. And, like, what did the mom do? She sit on a toilet seat and get pregnant and went, oh, God, I can't deal with this. I gave the baby away. And now it's like, this is the only guy she's ever fucked to. And she's like, this is amazing.
Ew.
It's weird because.
Where's dad in all this? That's what I want to know.
Well, at 19, come on, there was no dad.
There's what do you think? Yeah, there was a dad. She had in vitro at 19. There's a dad
thinking.
somewhere.
But
I want to know what's happening.
Yeah, it's weird because you just imagine, like, he's plowing where he came out of. Like, just think about that.
Yeah.
He came out of there, and he's trying to go back in.
Yeah, no.
And it just doesn't work.
Yeah, no.
Doesn't work that way.
Like, remember when you were a kid and there's always that moment where you walk in on your parents changing and it's like the grossest thing?
I mean, I never
That
did
never
that.
happened?
You knock. You always knock
I did.
first.
I one time knocked and my dad was changing. Knocked on the door and he thought he was my mom. So
He
I
thought
knocked,
you were
I
your
was mom, and I knocked on the
Dude,
door.
you guys must look awfully alike.
No, he just assumed it
That was weird.
He wasn't, super bright. So I knocked on the door and I
You
walked
couldn't tell
in,
it was between you and your mom.
and I opened the door really slowly. So he had a moment where he could have been like, "Get out of here," and he's like, "Austin, get out!" But I had the door wide open. I'm like, "God damn it!"
What are you doing?
Anyways, let's do the show.
I didn't know we were doing a show.
Therapy session this week. Steve, the topic is re-entering the dating world. Are we going to be talking about re-entering the dating world for your sons, daughters, mothers,
for me,
husbands?
for when because I'm trying to get this message out. Basically, like I'm ready to start dating again. And Mom, I hope you're listening because I have a very special message for
You're
you
a
in that
disgusting
segment.
person. Monthly segment. What was that?
You got a monthly segment here.
Girl Logic. I'm going to be taking it over. We're going to be talking about weddings in the Girl Logic.
Wow, that's actually that's a nice theme. But
We've
how
made it very
could you
easy.
go wrong? How could you judge a woman for wanting to get married? Have a wedding.
We will. Pick a side this week, Steve. You're fielding that. Nicolas Cage versus Vince Neil.
Yeah, apparently Nicolas Cage and Vince Neil had a wild week in Vegas.
Oh, it makes it sound
This
like
week,
they were
so,
making out.
Yeah, it sounds like they did they lived out the plot to very bad things. I don't know. We'll talk about it, and you will decide who is right. Pick a side.
See that? What was it? We lost. Deborah Messing was won.
Oh, Deborah Messing won out on that, huh?
Make it weird. I'm going to make it weird like I always do. We're going to be talking about Burger King. I did not bring Burger King. Sorry, Steve.
Oh, man. I'm really hungry, too.
I know. I hear you, buddy. I hear you. So am I. Steve, you're going to end the show with things one should not give up in a relationship.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of things when you start to date somebody or have been dating somebody, and you start to see yourself compromising more and more of your own lifestyle to accommodate the other person, and before you know it, you turn into this completely other person that you weren't before, and you sort of like morph into. And I'm going to tell you, I have a great article here about some things that you should never give up or compromise about yourself when pursuing or being involved in a relationship.
You'll hear all of that at the end of the show, but before we do all that, it's time for the Bad Culture Commentary.
Culture commentary.
It's episode 50. We're dead center in the middle of the election, and the Panama Papers scandal is what's topping the headlines over the past week. You think I can actually give you some detailed analysis of what the Panama Papers actually are, but I can't. I'm no financial expert. And guess what, Twitter? Neither are you. I know I can't fill my avid listeners much in on this, but basically the Panama Papers are a series of documents of world leaders and powerful folks storing their money in offshore accounts. The legality of this is a little fuzzy. Simply put, it's sometimes legal, sometimes not, much like Steve's dates for that matter. Icelandic Prime Minister Sigmundo David Gunnlaugsson and Ukrainian Prime Minister Arsenian Yatsenyuk have stepped down, as well as British Prime Minister David Cameron is getting heat from his country regarding the Panama Papers. The inner circle of Vladimir Putin has popped up in these papers, as well as, surprise, surprise, our friends over at FIFA. It's a big old mess, and it's going to take a while before more stuff gets sorted out. Now, I could bullshit about this until I'm blue in the face like New York Mets pitcher Bartolo Colon, but I'm not going to, and I'm quite tired of folks on Twitter pretending they're economic experts. The leak is out. Let's see the legality of the whole thing instead of calling for resignations and pretending we're Ben Stein. Let's get some perspective first. So go make fun of Hillary Clinton using a subway pass. You can handle that. Not millions of financial documents encompassing the world economy. And that's my bad culture commentary.
Well, I'm going to leak some papers all over Twitter here for you.
Okay.
I got a B+ on my Panama paper.
Did you?
But obviously I plagiarized because what the fuck do I know about Panama?
Yeah.
Or papers? I don't even know how paper's made. They make that out of glass. Right?
Papers?
I'm literally asking.
They're from trees.
Oh. Oh, see, that shows how much I know.
You chop down
a tree. I keep a lot of my larger financial accounts in these Panama offshore accounts, accruing a great 15 to 20% interest on my 17.
That's kind of crazy.
17 cents that I have.
Jeez.
No, that's how much they're paying me.
Oh, they're paying you.
In interest.
Oh, that's a great deal.
So, I mean, I put about 17 cents in there about 4 or 5 years ago.
When's it compounded? Quarterly?
So it's up to about $4.
Nice.
So
well,
I'm going to hold off. I'm thinking
it'll grow up exponentially.
I will just wait until that balloons to about $50 or $100, more money than I've ever seen in my life, and then I will pull that back into this country, spend it. Preferably on something fun, like
what? What do you want to buy?
like a blow up doll. One of the ones that's got the.
Huh, you're really weird.
Will
the blow up doll look like your mom?
Probably.
Okay.
I'm going to request it. It's going to be special ordered.
Well, I mean, you can afford it.
And it's got to have one of those vaginas that vibrates like inside, like
vaginas that vibrate, like
yes.
like you could order those up in your women that you date.
It's weird. It's like it's like an internal vibrator. It's like a vibrator for dudes.
First date questions like, how is the vibrations in your vag?
Yeah, I need to know like how quickly can you do like does it take a couple D batteries for it to I can't do it for very long.
Now
then my mouth gets tired.
How long are you going down there for? Jeez.
That's it. That's
You're not very generous.
As long as I can go.
You're not a very generous person.
Yeah, I don't know what this is about. I have no idea. I have no idea what we're talking about.
Here's my point.
FIFA is taking all of this money, storing it in places where they can't be taxed on it.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
And
I don't see a problem with
big
this.
surprise. Well, here's the thing. On Twitter, everybody's talking about Panama Papers, and Bernie Sanders called it. Oh my God, everybody's corrupt. First of all,
did Bernie Sanders call this one?
Well, he's all about, he doesn't like the big banks. You know that? You don't like them.
You know what we should do?
What?
We should break up the big banks.
That's what he's thinking. Flush them down the toilet.
That's a good idea.
And he's saying, but basically, there's not really many North Americans involved in this. So that's pretty good. That's good to hear. Way to go, United States. Second of all, not all of this is illegal. And third of all, you're on fucking Twitter talking about fucking, I don't know, the guy who got, proposing to his wife or future wife on the fucking cliff. And you're going to sit here and tell me that
some guy proposed to a wife on a cliff?
Well, he proposed to his fiancée on a cliff. He wasn't supposed to be up there. He got on Skype, said, "Hey, baby, want to marry me?"
Is that the guy that got,
and then
like,
couldn't get
fined?
down. Yeah, he couldn't get down.
That sucks.
So, yeah. But I'm just sitting there, it's like, you don't know anything about, I guarantee most of the people on Twitter talking about this stuff know nothing about finances or
They're not economists?
No, they're not. Neither am I. I'm not going to pretend to be. So
they probably at least all have a high school diploma, though.
I don't even know about that.
That makes them eligible to talk about it on Twitter.
You don't need a high school diploma to talk on Twitter.
Really?
No, you don't.
I thought that was a prerequisite.
No, you do need a GED.
Shit.
No, you could be 3 and be on Twitter. You could be a cat and be on Twitter.
My cat is on Twitter.
See, there you go. Ash, the stupid asshole cat.
Yeah, but he's got nothing of value to say. Hey, I will say that he did put his 2 cents in on this Panama thing.
Yeah, what do you say?
And while he was talking about how, he keeps all of his catnip in an offshore account.
Sure.
Which is accruing all of these great interest rates. And but he'll probably be dead before he ever cashes, because cats have this abrupt short-term memory. So the fucking guy already forgets that it's over there.
Yeah.
After he tweeted it, he forgot about it.
So he doesn't even look at his
I
tweets.
reminded him. I was like, hey, dude, you got all this stuff like sitting over in Panama. And he's like, what the fuck is Panama?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Just go back to eating the food, you fat fuck.
That's right.
So.
Anyways, get a
Whatever.
Bad Culture Crew. Tell us about the Panama Papers. Or don't, because actually,
give us
you don't know anything.
Give us your input. Tell us if you keep any funds in an offshore account
You don't
somewhere.
have funds. Let's be real. Nobody has funds.
I was going to say.
You keep all your money in a mattress
The
like a
world that
normal
I
person.
live in, my funds live in a change cup on my desk.
I just started that.
I
change
cashed
cup.
in my funds the other day. I got $12.
Did you really? You cashed in some change?
I cashed in my funds.
Oh, nice.
I cashed in my offshore
I thought
account.
you scooped up your vacuum pennies.
Absolutely not.
All right.
This has been accruing for about a year now.
Nice.
I went to the Coinstar machine, dumped it all in. $12.
I did it once as a kid. I hit 50. That was
Well, I
solid.
need to do this or else I can't put gas in my car.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Steve, you want to do some therapy? Let's do some therapy here.
Therapy sesh.
All right. You want to do some therapy sesh?
I do.
I'll do some therapy sesh for you.
Actually, I just did it because it's next on the rundown.
Oh, really?
I don't even. I was like, sure, I'll do that.
We are now at episode 50. We've done 50 of these now.
Isn't that weird?
And I
We
still
actually did 51.
I still
We
don't
did more.
we've done like 54.
Yeah.
If you put them all together.
Yeah, with the
But
Razzies and all that.
you would think that at this point I would have this down, and most weeks I still have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, I
I'm
did-
like,
yeah.
I have to look at the rundown for everything. I'm like, what is therapy sesh?
No, what's funny is like there's people that listen to this like backlog that like they won't listen to this episode until like 3 weeks after it came out, and some people have come up and talked to me about it, and I'm like, I don't even remember what I talked about 4 weeks ago.
I have no idea.
No fucking clue.
The show revolves around relativity. So
Yeah.
if it's something that happened in the news a month ago, we
Yeah.
live in such a fast, media-paced world.
Chew it up, spit it out, baby.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing that we could do or say about something that we talked about 3 weeks ago because we don't remember that it happened.
Unless it recurs, unless you get like Hulk
Yeah,
Hogan.
If you got the
or-
Hulk Hogan thing
or
the
Josh Duggar.
or the Ashley Madison thing, like
Yeah, that
if
was
it
good.
stays in the news, we get it. But
Yeah.
other than that, I can't tell you what
Other
happened.
than that,
When we're done
they-
recording this, when this is over, I'm blank.
Wipe your. We're on
I
the
just,
next
like,
week.
I can't remember. So anyway,
Therapy, yeah.
that's the therapy session. I hope you all enjoyed that.
Nothing to do with it. It's just a recap of
So
how great we are.
here's a question from a
Oh, okay.
single mother
I like-
in her
ooh.
40s.
Is she a MILF?
There's no picture here. It's just words.
Oh well, then
So
that's not going to.
my guess is yes, and you would totally. She probably looks a lot like your mom, so you'd probably totally bang her.
Well,
I'm
not into that.
I'm
like
a
you
single.
are.
I'm a single mom in my 40s, and my daughter is 12. Okay. After my last relationship 10 years ago, not with her father.
Okay.
Had to make that clear.
Okay.
So she's been with other men since.
Hanging out, whoring herself out.
I
Gotcha.
took a leave of absence from dating to concentrate on myself and being the best mom I could.
Did she file the correct paperwork to take her leave of absence? Did she
Go
go on sabbatical?
you. Probably.
Okay, good.
Fast forward.
Oh,
When
ooh.
I attempt to talk to anyone of the opposite sex, my daughter has a fit. She has hidden my car keys and my phone, pouts if I go out, and behaves like an all-out brat. I have reassured her that I love her and always will. Also, I would never allow someone around her if I had any suspicion that he might not be good for her. Nothing works. I have spoken with only one person I would even think of introducing her to, but I am afraid of her attitude. What's the best way to enter into the dating world without hurting my child? And I want to date, but my child won't let me. Signed, entering the dating world
Well,
again.
we all know that the 12-year-old girl runs the household.
She
and
is the sole breadwinner.
So,
and if you're going to
what
live
she
under
says
her
goes.
roof,
Yeah, what she says
then
goes.
you just have to oblige.
And you know, she's not doing enough to avoid this because obviously you just basically said this is your new dad and you will love him and treat him like your new dad. And that's a little going over the line there, a little
Absolutely
bit. you
not.
know?
I think that you should force feed every man that you bring around. Like, if you want to have a one-night stand with some guy, you make sure you bring up to the house. You make sure you bang him in front of the daughter and go, look, this is what he's going to do to you if you don't behave. Because, that's the way to handle the situation.
Probably.
Very simple.
No, I want to focus on the daughter here. I want to focus on the daughter. I think like she should do more elaborate things to prevent her mother from being happy. Because
She's
You don't want your
obviously
mom happy.
she hasn't seen movies like The Little Rascals or Home Alone. She's obviously not setting enough traps.
Yeah, why is it there like she set like marbles around?
There should be
dispensing
a lot
Legos.
of bait around the house.
Yeah, she
that could really harm her mother.
She didn't grow up with a lot of '90s movies to do that because the parents are bad and they're stupid.
Yeah,
the
what
kids
is she?
are fun.
All she grew up with was High School Musical and the Bratz movie.
Yeah, that
so
sucks.
She only knows one thing: cry and pout until you get your way.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that doesn't fly.
Or sing, but that's not going to
You
work.
need to treat this like a classic '90s family movie situation, like The Parent Trap.
Yeah, so that's
You know,
a good one.
Two Lindsay Lohans. You know,
Yes.
she should be two little Lindsay Lohans.
She should clone herself. Develop that technology to clone herself.
Right, and then
Freak
lock
her mom out.
and then lock her mom in the basement, not with the dad, because obviously she's been away from the dad long enough that relationship's not even plausible. Because
Right.
10 years ago, which would have been 2 years after the kid was born, she wasn't even with the dad then.
Yes.
So obviously, we'll just call this guy the sperm donor because essentially that must have been what he was.
Now you could also like fake injuries. That also good. So you know.
Or you could literally jump out a window.
You could do that.
You don't have to fake breaking your leg. You could break your leg. And then guess what? That's a solid 6 or 8 weeks you got your mom locked up.
Now, I do like the
Way
Little
to go.
Rascals idea because you want to get a nice ragtag group of friends, like your good old 12-year-old friends that are mischievous, that are, they don't kind of cheat on their homework a little bit.
all of the kids that don't want to see their parents happy either.
No, they.
And I'm sure they're easy to find
fuckers.
around that age.
Now, make sure, like, if there's a cute boy you like, you'll say, hey, or he likes you, you'll, like, make out with him if he helps you destroy your mom's happiness. Because your mom does not deserve to be happy.
Or the 12-year-old makes out with every guy that the mom brings around. And then the mom thinks that the guy's a pervert. Boom. Got it. Solved your problem, kid.
Or you could do, like, those really bad ones. Like, it's just, like, she'll, like, walk out of the restroom with, like, her shirt untucked. It's like, he raped me. And didn't really.
Right. Or
Yeah.
just... Yeah.
And it's like, I've never met your kid. So there you go. No,
we gave a lot of
Kids rape
suggestions.
is not that funny.
We gave a lot of suggestions to the kid, but nothing to the mom.
Well, the mom's in the wrong. She does not deserve to be happy. And frankly, we don't want any of these 40-year-old moms out there. Because I'm out there, you're out there. We don't want no 40-year-old moms
I'm
out there.
completely appalled that you would even write this question. What are you doing, you slutbag?
You're all watched up.
You're supposed to be making sandwiches for the kid in the kitchen. They want hot dogs in their mac and cheese. Slice them up and throw them in there. I don't know why we're having this conversation.
And personally, I don't want hot dogs in my mac and cheese, so you better not give me hot dogs in my mac and cheese, 40-year-old mom.
No, make them, and then I'm gonna make you pick them out for me because I don't like them.
Yeah.
I just like the
No,
hot.
no.
I just like the hot dog juice.
I don't want any hot dog juice.
I like the juice
Put the
over
hot
top
dog
of
juice
it.
for Steve, but not for me, and I'll know the difference because they're like, oh no, you pick these out. I'll know that
and it'll
because
be
I'm a kid.
delicious.
On
On a more serious note, what the fuck is your problem? The child does not run your life, and if she's gonna be a son of a bitch, send her to grandma's house when you're going on a date, okay? Because she'll probably dig that. Grandma lets her do whatever she wants.
Well, here's the weird thing. Grandma also re-entering the dating world
damn it. See, that's
so
the
basically
problem.
her whole goal in life is to ruin dates.
Look, this girl has a bright future as like a private eye that uncovers infidelity and ruins marriages. Like I
Let's
think
embrace that career.
I see that. I see the
Yeah.
career path that she's going to go down, and I think that you need to start embracing that now. Get her a My First Private Eye kit, because those are really fun. I think it comes with like a fingerprinting kit.
Those are actually
actually
kinda
no. Wait
fun.
a minute, I'm thinking of a detective kit.
Well, I had a secret agent kit when I was a kid.
Yeah,
So
me
cool.
too.
Those are so cool. You get
But
the
you know
magnifying
what?
glass.
At the end of the day, I just wasn't good enough to be a secret agent.
That's what I wanted to be when I grew up. That was my first occupation I really wanted to be.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to be a secret
Like
agent.
fucking James Bond?
Yeah, but I didn't want to be James Bond. I thought he was too cocky.
Yeah, you wanted to bang dudes.
No,
You were like, man, James Bond gets too many women.
I just
I need
wanted.
to find a profession where I can just fuck a bunch of guys.
I wanted to be like part of Acme and Carmen San Diego. I wanted to be like that. So I wanted to go through the ranks because I thought like Acme was like a legit organization.
Well, they are. I mean, I own stock in them, and it sits over in Panama.
And you would, which was also weird because they also produced anvils that were sold to coyotes. But I wanted to be part of Acme because I felt like you go through the ranks and catch like, goofy criminals who wanted to steal like priceless artifacts. And then you get older and realize like there's a lot of bad dudes out there. You don't want to be a secret agent.
I love bad dudes for Nintendo.
Anyways, what do you think this mother should do?
Do you
have a
think
kid of
this
your
mom
own?
is being too big of a pushover? Do you think,
I think
she's
so.
not laying down enough ground rules to suppress this bastard-like behavior that her daughter? Because if she just lets this go and keeps up, and she's like, well, my daughter's more important than me, which is understandable to
No,
a
I get
point.
that, I get that.
I get it.
Yeah.
But if she's going to impede on your social, like she's 12 years old, she's old enough to know
Yeah, she has
that
the- yeah.
you need to have a life too.
The cognizance.
So now it's time to say, listen here, you little bitch.
Idea.
Go.
Creative idea. Double date with some hot dudes at school. So you can go.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you guys can go to freaking Zootopia together. You know, a little
Yeah, I'm sure
double
that
date.
wouldn't be weird.
That's totally awesome. Or go see some movie with some crazy sex scenes in it. Your
I know,
mom.
because then the daughters, or the guy that the daughter's dating is going to be like, man, how am I going to get like some over-the-shirt action with her mom sitting right beside us?
Yeah.
All our moms getting some over-the-shirt action right beside him. It's
Double
like,
dating.
Oh, shit, that's
And,
weird.
and then the women can leave the table, and like the 40-year-old talks to the 12-year-old. He's like, "Girls, am I right? I mean, come on."
Yeah, and the mom just sits there and just chugs a glass of wine. Wow.
That's my creative
A
solution.
lot of terrible incestuous jokes in this episode. I'll
There
tell you,
is.
episode 50 is really starting to wear on me a little bit.
Steve, let's get into our newish segment.
Oh, we have a new segment coming up.
Newish.
New-ish, yes. It's not the first
you
time.
debuted it. I
Did.
got the sloppy seconds. It's Girl Logic.
Girl logic.
I wonder how many women listen to this show. Quite a few, actually.
We've actually lost that entire audience within the first 20 minutes of this show.
Well, women, welcome back. We'll tell you what you think about stuff because we're experts on it. This is Girl Logic, where we talk about, where we sit here and be puzzled, scratch our heads over logical statements
the
by women.
way that women sort of perceive things and sort of approach tough situations.
So I'm going to talk about a girl that I was having a conversation with. She shall be remain nameless, but her name was Katrina. No, it wasn't. Betsy. No, it
Betsy.
wasn't. Jennifer.
Margaret
No, it wasn't.
Thatcher.
It was actually Amelia. So Amelia, one of her big fans. Last name Earhart, by the way. Did you know that? She's big in the plains.
I do know that.
Big in the plains. Amelia was talking to me, and she is having some struggles with her current boyfriend. Okay,
Having boyfriend troubles, is she?
She lives with her boyfriend. Yeah.
Interesting.
And she's kind of waiting around for the boyfriend to propose so they can get married, which is traditional stuff.
Yeah, live together, have premarital sex, get pregnant, get married. Yeah, I got it.
Gotcha. And basically, we had this conversation back and forth, this and that, and
Right,
the
that's
guy
how it went.
is nervous now because she wants this. Because she was on and he won't propose, he won't do this, we won't get married, this and this, and I just kind of went, why? Why not just get married? And I was giving references. I just knew this couple that just got engaged.
He gave a great reference. He was like, call this couple that I know. They'll tell you how easy it is to get married.
Just fresh out of college. They just got engaged like a month or two
They're
ago.
getting married.
They're going to get married, right? And I can't imagine they have much money. Because they're just out of college.
Depends. If they have all this money stored in these offshore Panama accounts, they're probably fucking loaded, and you know nothing about it. Okay,
That's true.
so whatever. Go to Twitter and tell us about how much you know about their
That's true.
Panama Papers.
I'm going to say they don't. I'm going to say on a whim, they're not
You know
loaded.
these people well enough to know.
Well, the girl still lives at home. So,
Oh, does she now?
yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm going to say not so much. So anyway, they're going to get married. So I'm imagining they don't have a ton of money. Okay. But this girl was like, oh, we want to propose. And I was like, well, it's just like, well, it costs money to have a wedding. I'm like, yeah, but if you really want to marry him, just marry him. And then it hit me that this girl cared a lot about the wedding ceremony than the actual intent of matrimony. And
Yes.
that is the part that made me go, I see it now. And the girl didn't understand that because she was sitting there talking about the dress and that her family didn't have money because her family would have to pay for the wedding, about the ring. And then it opened up a lot of doors as to why this guy wasn't proposing to her because these standards got higher and higher and higher, almost to an insurmountable
She is
level.
looking for a fairy tale princess wedding.
And then I basically
That's what she's
told her.
looking for.
So then I basically told her, I was like, hey, if you want to find a rich guy. Just find a rich guy. You'll have your ceremony. Find a nice rich guy.
Because
That's what my ex-girlfriend did.
It's sounding an awful lot like she could give a fuck about who the guy is that she's marrying,
Yeah.
just as long as it's a very beautiful and expensive and elaborate ceremony.
Well, I think you want it all, but you can't have it all the time. Honestly, you rarely are ever. But that's what happened to me. This girl was sitting there going on and on about this and this and money and this and that while she lived at home, and would yell at me that I didn't have this and I didn't have that and I didn't have that. And I was like,
you don't have your shit together, man.
you know,
Why
clearly,
don't you have,
I'm in disarray.
at your age, you should have a 6-figure job, a penthouse in the
Basically.
Hollywood Hills, and a vacation home in New York. I don't
Basically.
understand.
And
What are you waiting for?
I'll just go do it. I'll just
Withdraw
wake
all
up.
your money from Panama and just fucking go buy it. I don't understand.
And then know what she did? She left me, and within a year, married a guy who had a lot more money. And I was like, good for you. Now you're happy. You can pretend to be happy and this and that, whatever it is. So fine.
I like people that do that. I like people that
Well, at
go
least it's honest.
find somebody that they say, you know what, you're kind of a dirtbag to me, and you're kind of a piece of shit, and
Right.
you're probably cheating on me, but you know what? I'm secure. I'm secure. I don't have to worry about money.
Then fine. I mean, I guess it just depends on what you're.
Happiness is
Yeah.
very different to a lot of people.
Well, I don't. I think even here's the thing. We could say that money it makes things easier, but you look at
Money
all
makes
these,
things 1,000 times
But
easier.
you look at all these celebrities remarrying all the time, doing drugs, alcohol problems. A lot of them, a lot of celebrities have a lot of crazy problems.
Of course.
And to me, I'm going, they're not happy.
Well,
what else would
you
what
gotta,
else would it be?
You got to understand, like, Notorious B.I.G. wrote a song about that back in the day, man. More money, more problems.
Yeah,
And it's a very real story if you listen to the lyrics.
right.
You know how much stress comes along with having that much money and how hard you have to work to maintain that sort of lifestyle. No, dude, it totally has to get to you. And it's got to be crazy.
So, what do you think of this situation, this conversation I had with this girl? What would your advice? What's your take from this whole thing?
No, I 100% agree that it's, to me, it sounds like the one day, wedding day, is more important than the institution of what marriage actually is.
Right.
And so from that aspect, I don't really understand why you want to just have a faux, like,
Then do it.
have like a princess day at like Disney World.
Yeah.
Dress up in a beautiful like dress. We'll put a tiara on your fucking head. He'll take you to Cinderella's castle. You could take a whole bunch of pictures in front of it. You can throw a bouquet of flowers to your friends. We could go to, let's go to a dance hall or something and have like a good time and pop some champagne bottles. And
Pop bottles, make your body waddle.
we can do that on a budget. You can do that for like a couple $100. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be. You don't have to
No, but you
invoke
gotta have your
all those
families there,
other.
and you got to have the priest there, and you got to.
Hey, rent a priest for $50.
You got to find your dad, marry him, because that's the thing now.
That's what you got to do. He's got the money.
The more and more I'm seeing this stuff, the more and more
You seem to be at a loss here.
I just don't like. Before, like I had this vision of myself getting married and doing this, and now I'm just like, if this is what it's gonna be.
Now you've
who
gotten to a point in your
cares?
life where you're very fat, slovenly.
Yeah.
You're not very attractive anymore.
No, I'm hideous.
And
Look away,
There's
really.
really nothing that you could do to improve that.
I don't have much going on. This is it. It's
gyms don't exist, so you can't go there and like get yourself back in shape.
No, you try, but
You
then
know?
you realize, hey, there's a lot of fine fast food establishments that you got to go to.
On the way to the gym, and I go, well, I'm
and
just
then
gonna
you go to
here.
and then you go to the gym. They serve you pizza. Come on.
It's delicious.
But do you have any final thoughts about women who marry? I feel like that's a trend. I don't know if other people see it, where women marry for the reception as opposed to marrying for building a life together.
I've had similar conversations before where there are women that I've talked to that have said, oh, I just wish that I could get married already. I've been with this guy for
Then
a
go
long
do it.
time. He's not proposing to me. I'm like, well, I mean, what do you think the reason is? Why do you think he's not proposing? And boom, here come all these reasons. It's like, well, I want this for I want to get married here. I want to have the honeymoon here. And I'm like, that's an awful lot of, and they've got a specific ring that they have picked out, and it's fucking $5,000. I'm like, so you don't really want to get you don't need to get married. You just want to have all these things that come along with getting married.
And if you really want it that way, find a rich guy. That's my answer.
Plain and simple.
But anyways, I guess, what do you think? Do you think we're being too harsh? Do you think that's an actual problem? I feel like it is. But I also
we feel that a lot of things are problems.
But I also feel like there's a lot of happier couples out there that don't have money and they wind up okay. My parents didn't have a ton of money.
These are people that have $100 that go to the fucking county courthouse, get a marriage license, and then go on and live their married life.
We're not even saying you have to do that, but you
don't have to do that. No,
you
but
can do it respectfully under a budget.
I was going to say there are ways to have
and
like
enhance your ring later on.
A great wedding for a couple $100.
Yeah, and then you can go to your, you can go get that ring later on, go this later on, do the honeymoon later on. I know a lot of people do a honeymoon like a year or so after they get married,
Right.
And that's just how it goes, and that's okay.
If the person means that much to you,
figure it
you're
out.
You're going to figure it out and you're going to get married.
Steve, what's the next segment?
Oh my God, I totally forgot we were doing a show.
Did you like that pregnant pause?
Oh, yeah, I love everything that's pregnant. Hey, it sounds like we're going to slow things down right now and pick a side.
Pick a side.
All right.
All right.
So it looks like we've got a pretty great matchup here this week. In
Ooh,
Pick a
all right.
Side.
All right. Let's hear it.
Apparently, Motley Crue singer Vince Neil was cited for battery after he grabbed a woman by the hair when she sought an autograph from his buddy, actor Nicolas Cage, at a Las Vegas hotel.
Friends. These guys are friends. Vince and Nick. Okay.
There was a cell phone video that was posted on TMZ that showed Nicolas Cage grabbing Neil around the neck while restraining him and shouting, "Stop this!" Just like in Con Air. It was a great movie.
Oh.
It does not show the conversation between Vince Neil and the woman. So in the Thursday incident, the woman told police that she was asking Cage, the star of films such as National Treasure and Leaving Las Vegas, for his autograph at the hotel when Vince Neil came up from behind, grabbed her by her hair. The Las Vegas spokesperson said.
All right.
Police did not release the woman's name. Officers who went to the hotel responded to her complaint, cited Neil for a misdemeanor battery, but did not arrest him. If convicted, Neil faces maximum sentence of up to 6 months in jail. So, I guess basically the pick a side here is who handled the situation better? Nick Cage just ignoring the woman, or Vince Neil for grabbing this woman by the hair and basically choking her to death?
My pick? Oh, it's Nick Cage. It's Nick Cage.
Really?
Yeah, because I think we didn't get to that point. Like, after reading the story, maybe if we gave him a little more time, he would have gave the autograph and passed it.
Oh, I thought maybe if you gave him more time, he would have choked her. This is a possibility.
But here's the thing. This woman, has a story for her life now, and it's like, hey, I went up to go to Nick Cage, and he rose to the occasion and defended me against the evil Vince Neil, who grabbed me by the back of my head.
I'm just completely miffed by this entire story.
And Nick Cage is a crazy person.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
if you have seen the video, which I've watched it a number of times now.
I didn't know there was a video. I didn't even see the video.
Yes, there's a video of Nick Cage and Vince Neil. Like, Vince Neil is trying to fight Nicolas Cage.
I feel like
in the video
he'd lose that fight. Right?
And, Nick Cage is just grabbing him in the middle of the sidewalk, like, by the neck, screaming, "Stop this."
Yeah, because...
And it's pretty awesome.
That's funny. And I'm sure alcohol was an alcohol involved.
I'm sure they were both fucking tanked.
Yeah.
And the best part about it is it was the middle of the day. It was like 4 PM.
What is Nick Cage doing? Being bankrupt over here.
What is Vince Neil doing?
Well, Vince Neil, right?
Dude,
he's
just
in all these little minor arrests and shit like that.
Yeah. He's been He's arrested for a 2010 drunk driving, and the following year he was charged with battery and disorderly conduct after he was accused of jabbing his ex-girlfriend at the theater.
With a what?
With his fist.
Oh, jabbing.
He jabbed her.
Oh, I thought meant like jabbing her with like a...
He didn't stab her. He jabbed her.
With like a plastic fork.
He gave her a great fucking left hook, man.
Now what... where's Cat Williams in this? How would he have handled it? He would have lost to both.
I was going to say the woman would have pulled him to the ground, ripped all of his dreadlocks out, and said, "There, now go tell a joke about it."
But if you get the 7th grader in there, he kills them all.
He would have
He's a
knocked
baller.
it. He would have knocked it dead.
Who are you picking? What side are you going on?
Well, as funny as it would be to say that I do not support violence against women, so I'm going to have to go with Nicolas Cage.
That's so nice of you to not.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and side with Cage on this one.
Yeah.
He was in some great films like Face Off and
Ghost Rider. That was pretty great.
Yeah, Ghost Rider.
I did like National Treasure.
It's fine.
People think whatever,
National
but
Treasure's okay.
it's fun. It's a fun movie.
But I think if somebody comes up to you, there's a certain stigma that comes with being a celebrity. And I'm sure this was not the first, second, third, or 15th time during the day that somebody came up to him that was like, hey, you're Nicolas Cage. He's like, yeah, I am.
Right.
I'm Nick Cage.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God, can I have an autograph? He's like, seriously? If these people just stood around signing your shit all day, they would never get anything else done.
Yeah.
So I think you just over time learn to deal with it. But, Vince Neil, the rock and roll lifestyle that he lives, he's just going to choke a bitch out.
For nothing. Okay.
He doesn't care. He's like, this woman is talking to this guy that I know. I'm going to pull her hair and slam her face into the bar.
See, what if that's kind of weird? What if he was cock blocking? Like, what if Nick Cage was like all about it?
Oh, you think Nick Cage was trying to hit that? I don't know. I didn't see the woman.
And then
I can only imagine she was a little.
Maybe it was the woman
heavy
trying
side.
to, like, maybe this was the woman with the little kid. And maybe the little kid has a point. Like, if you're going to date Nick Cage, that's a problem. Because you don't know what you're going to get at in Nick Cage. You're going to get loud
That's
Nick Cage.
true. Like, you could either get Wicker Man Nick Cage,
Right.
or you could get Weatherman Nick Cage.
Yeah, you don't know who
I don't know which man you're going to get.
You don't know.
And it's going to be bizarre.
There was a... See, you haven't watched Community. It's a great show. There's an episode where they tried... There was a 4-day class. That was it. You got credit for it. It was like studying
How
Nick
to be Nick Cage?
Everybody fails the class because nobody can understand it.
He was in a lot of movies that have men at the end of the title. We were just talking about. Again, Wicker Man, Matchstick Men.
What was the one he
Weatherman.
was with? Was it Cher? Was he in a movie with Cher?
Probably.
Moon something?
Oh, yeah. Something. Cal jumped over the moon.
Something Moon. I forget
Yeah.
what it was. Anyways, yeah, get on there. We're going to put up the pick a side as we do on Fridays. Nick Cage
course.
versus Vince Neil.
Who handled the... And we don't know. Maybe she was irate. I'm going to say that. Who handled the irate fan better? Was it Nick Cage or was it Vince Neil?
Only you can decide. Steve, let's make it weird.
Make it weird.
As if we haven't made it weird enough. With Nick Cage.
This show hasn't been weird enough.
Well, we're going to make it even a little more weird. Because we're going to talk about Burger King. Now, this comes
All right,
from...
this is too weird for me.
Yeah, what's Burger King? I don't even go to Burger King that much.
There's one right by my house, so I go and get the Whopper Jr.
Get some
sometimes.
Whopper Jr.? You're not a real man.
Yeah, I know. I do the Whopper Juniors because you can get more of them. You can eat more of them than just one Whopper.
Ah, I see
One
your
wrapper.
move now. They do have those onion rings there, though. That's pretty cool.
A lot of places have onion rings, sir.
McDonald's don't.
Well, that's because McDonald's is a shithole. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I mean, McDonald's is the greatest place on earth.
Yeah.
I run a
And
McDonald's holding a
here's
gun to my
another
head right
thing.
now.
They also have those Slurpees over at Burger King.
Yes, the Surge
And
Slurpee.
They also have the machine where you can like mix up all the different drinks at Burger King.
So does
letting you know.
Wawa. So does the gas station.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you can't do that at McDonald's. You can't do it. You just get what you get. And then Wendy's, they got the square burger, which is interesting.
Yeah,
So
which is
anyways,
great. That's where the beef is.
So this comes from. Story comes from
Where
Fox.
does this come from?
Fox.
Oh.
I just want to read the first sentence here. It's a whopper of a prank that could lead to felony charges.
That's got to be the greatest pun in any news article I've ever read.
Fuck you. Calls have been coming into fast food restaurants in several states, leading employees to break out the windows. The prankster frames it as a gas emergency, and the only way to vent the store is to smash all the glass. The last 3 Burger Kings, 1 Wendy's, and 1 Jack in the Box. You go to Jack in the Box?
I used to when I lived in Texas.
Have fallen for the prank or to copycats. And Friday, workers at a Burger King in Minneapolis suburb of Coon Rapids, Minnesota. That's a southern
Where the smartest people in America live.
That's a southern-ass city. Coon Rapids. Smashed windows of a store after a caller convinced them the place might explode. Police Captain Tom Hawley told CNN. So basically, some people called up Burger King, said, hey, there's some gas problems. It's going to explode unless you smash the window. So the employees went out, took crowbars, took things out of their...
And went and smashed all the windows.
Smashed all these windows. So...
No, I guess the first thing, like if I was answering the phone, and it's funny because they said, let me speak to the manager. So obviously, they were looking for the smartest person in the establishment.
Okay.
And they were like, let me try to fool this guy.
Right.
And they said, hey, your place is filling with toxic fumes. You need to smash all the windows or else it's going to explode. And I guess my first question would have been like, well, can't I just prop the doors open?
Or leave?
Or can't we all just like evacuate?
No, you got to smash them.
Well, I guess they were trying to, I understand that part because they're like, well, if we just leave, Well, I mean, the restaurant might explode. We don't have jobs tomorrow. You
Go
gotta
across the street.
No,
There's
you
other
got to.
Wendy's to
You
go
got to
to.
save the restaurant.
You
know?
could work at a different.
I
Burger
understand
King.
their loyalty runs deep to Burger King.
That
Okay,
specific Burger King.
they're like, no,
They
we
dream to work on the Burger King.
Well,
in
you
Coon
know
Rapids?
that all these places have
Why
different.
can't you work in like freaking I don't know?
Then they have to
Possum
join
Rapids.
No, then they have to join a new softball team. It all goes to hell. Numbers become uneven, and then we have to restart the whole season.
Yeah, but then you come
Can't
in
do
and
that.
then you learn to work with each other, sort of like Remember the Titans. Remember that? See how
I
well
don't
that
remember the Titans.
worked? Yeah, well, the black kids had to come in with the white kids in the
Oh,
segregation.
they rode the same bus. I remember.
and they had
that
to
movie.
learn how to work together as a team.
They didn't break any windows.
So what are you against? Team building, working with other people that are different.
I am
also,
highly
there was
against
a gay
team
kid.
building.
There was also a gay quarterback in the movie
in Varsity Blues. Yeah.
in Remember the Titans.
So I think what we have here is just a
Failure to communicate.
We have a very
You were gonna say
intelligent. No, I think what we have here is a very intelligent crank caller who somehow. It's funny because the article says, "Well, he was very convincing on the phone."
Yeah.
If I was
Snickering friends in the background.
if
and
I
give
was
it
the,
away.
if I worked at Burger King headquarters, I would go down there and assess the damage, look at all the broken windows, and go inside and be like, "Really, guys? Really?
Again, this is the third one.
How?"
Now they're wondering if these are related or they're just copycats. Now here's the one suspicious thing. As we hear somebody in the background getting arrested.
Smashing all the windows at the McDonald's down the street.
Jesus Christ, where am I going to go? I need Monopolies going on.
It's happening.
Here's the list of the restaurants that we're doing.
Tell me if any of the restaurants I go to have been affected.
3 Burger Kings,
Yes.
1 Wendy's, and 1 Jack in the Box. So,
Jeez.
McDonald's is behind this, right?
Either McDonald's or Arby's is behind this.
I'm going to say McDonald's would be.
You know why?
I
Because-
think there's more direct competition with those.
But Arby's just
should go
seems
for the
more
roast beef.
intelligent than everybody else.
True, but there's no real. Hey, roast beef, fast food, Arby's. Okay, when you go, hey, fast food burger, Wendy's, Burger King. It's a little more cluttered.
I guess
out
the
there.
police would be like, "Would you recognize the voice on the phone if you heard it again?"
Yeah,
You know,
it's Grimace.
does it sound? Yeah, does it sound like a clown or a giant purple monster? It's like, you know what? The second one sounds right.
Well, the thing is, Ronald McDonald just sounds like a regular guy. Like he's not like this. Like
Does
weird-
he?
Yeah, he doesn't have a weird voice.
I think he does.
What are you
He
talking
sounds
about?
like a fucking clown.
That's just clownish.
Sounds like a goofball clown.
He doesn't sound like that.
That's Ronald McDonald.
That is not Ronald
Yes, it
McDonald.
is, dude. Have
No,
you
it's
ever
not.
seen a
Yes,
Ronald
I have.
McDonald commercial?
I've seen so many. It does not sound like that.
Yes, Ronald McDonald. So what I'm gonna need you to do is go out front and smash all the windows, kids.
You make. Well, first of all, you sound like somebody. I'm trying to think of who you sound like. You
I know
sound
what I
like
sound like.
you do
I sound
not-
like Ronald
No,
McDonald from
you
McDonald's.
don't. Talk that
The-
again.
the
Say that one more
clown.
time. Say that one more time. Say something funny.
All right, ready? Hold on, wait.
Okay,
I'm
make
gonna
the
tell,
crank call.
I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you, it's like,
Okay.
let me speak to the manager, huh? And that's
You
you.
sound like
That's
a
you. You go to the
retarded
manager, you're
goofy.
like, I'm gonna need you to go out into the parking lot and smash all the windows.
Now he's. It's a fake voice.
Now he's got like a feminine thing going on.
It does not sound like that. That is,
Ronald McDonald.
that is the worst Ronald McDonald
Nope.
impression ever.
It's better than
You
yours.
can't even do
It's
one.
better than yours.
Because he's just a regular guy.
Well, so he sounds like you.
He sounds like you talking.
No, he sounds more like
Well, nobody can do me. My voice is ridiculous. Your voice is way more normal than mine.
way more feminine. Yeah, I get it.
No, normal. Grimace has, I think, more of a
Goodness, sounds like this.
Everybody, what's a bird girl sound?
Bird girl sounds like this.
Well, here's the one thing. It can't be the little like muffly guys,
The Mick kids.
the Mick kids. Yeah, those like bush things that run
No,
around.
because they can only go.
Now the Hamburglar, it would seem like that would make sense, but he only likes to steal.
The
his own.
Hamburglar sounds a lot like the Cookie Crisp criminals, like the guys that steal the cookies for the Cookie Crisp.
Cookie, that guy.
Yeah,
Cookie.
Cookie Crisp.
Now that weird thing about that, Wolf replaced the dog in Cookie Crisp.
I remember,
You saw that.
and that's when I stopped eating Cookie Crisp.
Yeah,
I said,
fuck that.
They
Protested.
obviously they killed the dog, and they brought this wolf in.
Yeah, what are they in? Some music video killing dogs?
So anyway, apparently Ronald McDonald called a bunch of Burger Kings, made them smash all their windows, and now
I think McDonald's behind it.
now
McDonald's
Burger King's
employee,
pissed.
you know, because you got to drive more. You got Monopoly season going on.
Yeah, I know. So that doesn't sit well with any fast food establishment because once McDonald's starts Monopoly, business just dwindles everywhere else for like a month.
You know, I'm going there every
And then,
other day.
Yeah, and then it comes back. Like sales boost back up after after nobody wins the $1 million. They go, oh shit, I didn't win again. I'm like, yeah, you didn't win any year that they did this.
But you tried.
Well, at least you know you tried.
I'm trying right now.
It's true.
Anyways, Steve. What do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Burger King?
go to Bad Culture Crew on Twitter and tell us, would you smash windows if some random gentleman called up and said, hey, the establishment that you work out is going to explode
Oh, hold on 1 second.
unless you go out
Hold on.
and blow up all the windows.
Oh.
Who's that? Is that
Really?
your mom? Is that your mom?
Oh.
Is your mom on the phone?
So we got to go smash all these windows.
Oh, somebody just called?
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. All right, well, we'll bust out all these windows here in a few minutes, but we do have one more segment to get to.
Oh, we do.
From what I was told. I mean, you run the ship. I don't.
No, Wendy does. Wendy?
I just show up.
Get us in line, Wendy. Wendy.
Hey, people, have you ever been in a relationship and you're there for a while
What's a relationship again?
and you start to feel like maybe you've bitten off a little more that you can chew?
Are you talking literally biting off
yes.
more things you can
Literal
chew?
and metaphorical. Maybe you don't feel like yourself anymore. Maybe you've given up a little too much to be in this relationship. I'm going to give you a list of things that you should never compromise or change to be with somebody. The last word.
The last word.
So straight from Austin's favorite website, lifehack.org.
Lifehack's not bad. That's
got
actually
this-
not a bad website.
I got this great article written by a woman named Mandy Kloppers.
Oh, Klops.
Klops.
M. Klops. I know Klops.
M. Klops.
She has one eye.
Talks about the 10 things that you should never give up for a relationship.
All right, let's run them down. Are we going to dissect them every
Yeah,
beat?
we
every
can, of
beat,
course.
bop,
We'll
scat,
do
doodle?
we'll do like we regularly do in the last word, where we'll give you something on the list. We'll stop for a minute. I will preface it with
Not preface it. You'll
I
preface
will
it.
preface this with there's a lot of things on this list that I feel like I've done in the past. So I'm gonna have to agree with a lot of these
Some of them are a little doubly, though.
and say,
There's
yeah,
a few
don't do
doubles.
this. Yeah, I've been through this before. So
Let's rehash terrible memories.
all right, so here are the 10 things that you should never give up when pursuing a relationship. Number 1, your self-esteem, confidence, self-belief. Some relationships bring out the best in us. Others leave us feeling unworthy or unsure of ourselves. If you find you are full of self-doubt and are less confident than you were at the beginning of the relationship, it might be time to analyze where this decrease has come from. A healthy relationship should provide a solid base from which to explore the world and achieve the best you possible. If your relationship is keeping you small and diluting your strengths, it is a warning sign to take note of.
Okay. I'm pretty great all the time, so.
So, have you ever felt have you ever lost self-esteem or confidence in yourself because of a relationship?
Not in that self-esteem, not really. I mean, I felt weird. Like sometimes I felt like out of place, but I wouldn't say I've lost self-esteem or I felt like terrible about myself.
I can tell you that this has happened to me plenty of times.
Yeah.
In a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
There are times that, and this is a super big weakness of mine, where people can make me feel absolutely worthless.
Really?
And it is fucking soul crushing.
That's weird because I think one of the things is, and I get like this, but I think I'm great. So, but no, like I don't care a lot of what people think. I do care about what close friends think, but I take it to heart and I really consider it. But if you're not important to me, then I don't even care.
He doesn't care what you think. He's single, ladies.
I care what you,
know,
No,
hit him up on Austin
yeah.
DNLS on Twitter. He doesn't care what you think, and he's single.
Yeah, but you've had some experiences where you
course.
felt down. Wow, you must really care what people think.
No, it's just people that
I don't care. No,
people that
makes
I'm
sense.
with that I care about. I do care what they think, and a lot of times, like some of the things they say, it really fucking brings me down, and I'm like, wow.
Has anything like resonated in your brain? Like, oh man, she said that.
Well, I'm not like going to jump super into specifics because that would be a whole nother fucking box that we'd have to open.
The last word.
Yeah, I was going to say this segment would take an hour in itself if we really dove into the extremes of how fucked up my life's really been. So we'll keep it pretty general, and I will say that there have been times when this has happened to me, and I'll just say if that's something that you're experiencing right out of the gate, like you feel shitty, or somebody says something about your worth or your detracts from the confidence in yourself,
Sure.
I think it's time to throw up a red flag right
Or
out-
just at least
right off the
say,
bat.
hey, when you said that made me feel bad.
And that way, she can get super uncomfortable and go, why are you trying to start a fight with me right now?
Yes.
Because that's how it goes.
But, guys can say some stuff like that, too, and make
course they
some
can.
girls feel dumb. So you always speak up.
Now,
Always
number
speak
2, your independence, personal and financial. Being in a relationship can be a wonderful, loving experience. It's always important to maintain your independence and resist morphing into one mutual identity. See your friends, enjoy interests that don't always include your partner, and keep a separate bank account for yourself. Independence is healthy and always helps you feel you are in the relationship because you want to be, not because you need to be. This I have done wrong on every level.
Really?
Yes.
See, for the most part, for me, I've actually been pretty good about that because I like my own shit, and I like the girl to have her own shit, and I'm pretty clear about that. So,
The only thing that I haven't fallen prey to on this one is couples who share one Facebook account.
that's a thing?
Oh yeah, I know a ton of them.
So what do you like? Do you combine? Do you become like your celebrity name? Like
No, it's just you put both of your names and then your guys' last name. In
like
the
married old people do now on Facebook.
well, they're not old. I mean, these people in like
that's
their
the only thing
fucking
I've seen.
30s.
I've seen like married old people do that, and I'm like, all right, fine, like because they have the same email address.
And it's like, holy shit,
No,
you really have morphed into one. You have one account.
No,
Well, yeah.
not that at all.
But I will remember. I do remember that when I was in my mid-20s, I had a girlfriend that I was with for like 4 years, and we opened a bank. We opened a bank account together, and
Great idea.
Oh, it's fabulous because in the end she stole about $3,000 from me. So it's great.
She put them in the Panama Papers.
She took them, put them overseas in Panama where I can't get them, and now she's probably made like $10,000 on all that interest.
It's all legal.
So it's great. Number 3, your right to decide for yourself, freedom of choice. Never give up your opinions and freedom of choice to keep another person happy. Compromise is important, and a win-win situation is the ideal outcome. But be wary of partners that try to control you, whether it involves negative comments about the way that you dress, the way you cook and or clean the house, or the friends you have. Choose for yourself and do not be manipulated into doing things that you don't agree with in order to keep the peace.
Have that happen. Have had that.
I've had that happen too.
Where it'll be like, what were the examples again? Like, one of
The
them
way
was
that you
really-
dress, the
way
way
I
that
was
you
dressed, that was a big thing.
yeah, the way that you carry yourself, the friends that you have,
Yeah, and I remember one.
the
of
way
them-
that you if somebody actually I can go
Sure.
ahead and stop because I was going to say somebody's complimenting you or critiquing you on the way that you clean the house. Actually, yeah, that's happened to me before, and obviously I was a piece of shit for not cleaning the house right.
Well, yeah.
That has happened to me
The
before.
thing is,
so.
I'd concede that one pretty easily because I'm probably doing it wrong. But
I was
won't-
actually doing it right.
I wouldn't concede like, oh my god, like I remember I walk in, I'd go pick this girl up, and the first thing instead of saying, "Hey, how was your day?" or "What's up," it'd be like she'd have to sit there and adjust my clothes and my hair and the whole. And I'm like,
What the fuck are you doing?
leave me alone. Like, I just walked in the door and we're already this.
We're already doing
I
this
remember
thing.
arguing with a girl. She's like, you need to dress up. And I'm like, we're going to a barbecue. You need to dress. And so I'm sitting there in these freaking button down and khakis.
Here you are in a 4-piece suit. You're like,
And everybody's
I'm gonna
wearing,
get barbecue sauce on this.
Everybody's wearing t-shirts and bathing suits. And she's like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, yeah, we look stupid because we're at a barbecue.
You feel good? You feel good looking like we're going to church when we're going to a barbecue?
That's what it was all the time. I was
Hey,
like,
was the barbecue at a church?
no, it
Oh,
was
you
in a
fucked
backyard.
Up. Man, you guys fucked up big time.
Like, it was like a barbecue with wiffle ball and pool. Nope, I'm in a fucking...
It's hard to run in those Docker slacks.
Yeah, I'm in slacks and a button down, hot as shit, not want to spill anything on anything because I'm in freaking nice clothes.
And they've got a bouncy house and a slip and slide. You can't participate in either.
I wanted to play wiffle ball.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, Mom.
Because I know you're dating her.
That's right.
That's what you're talking about. Number 4, your right to be you. Protect your fundamental characteristics and personality traits and never give up the essential you. We all change to a certain degree in relationships,
Right.
but be careful that you don't try too hard and end up losing yourself in the process. Those who love you will adore the real you and all your imperfections. Constantly trying to change yourself will erode your confidence and self-esteem and can be demoralizing.
I agree with that sentence completely. I've been there. I've been through the ringer, and I've come out.
I just go back to being myself. I've tried to like morph into.
Don't-
I've done that before, and I don't know. Sometimes the feeling that you get when you're with somebody is so overwhelming that you really are willing to do anything to try to make it work. And then when you come out of you come out of that situation,
You go, what were you
and
doing?
you go back to being you, and you go, what the fuck was I
Right.
thinking?
I did that once, and it was a lot of it. Like I touched upon it with it. A lot of it was my interest because I'm interested in a lot of like,
A lot of
nerdy,
stupid shit,
dumb
stuff for
shit.
12-year-olds, right?
Right. And I really like that stuff. But and the thing is, she didn't, and she was trying to change those interests and change the things I valued and liked.
There were three. You're doing everything wrong. You're playing video games. You're watching cartoons, and you read comic books. What you should be doing is praising Jesus, going to church, and wearing button-down slacks and everything to barbecues. I don't know how you aren't getting that.
And I was like, come on, And but you've been there before too. Like, has anybody like said, okay, this is part of you? Like, there are things that are important to you. What things that?
I have been pretty beaten down with my video game obsession, watching too many horror movies.
Like, could you imagine that?
Could I imagine a life without horror movies? No.
Right.
I could not. Like, I would
That's part
lose
of
my
who you
shit.
are.
I'd be like, absolutely not. And a lot of the times, in just about every relationship that I've ever had,
Sure.
I have to go to these like there's always like these new horror movies come out every week in the theaters.
Yeah, you
and I'm like,
find
oh
everything.
my god, I need to go see this. And just about every girl I've ever dated is like, you watch that? That's stupid. That's dumb. You know how it's gonna go. Everybody's gonna die.
And here's the
Everybody's
thing.
gonna get killed. I'm
Fair
like,
enough, but you don't
I
have
know.
to go. Fair enough, but you don't have to go and just support the things that I want. I don't think you ever just like, you better go with me or we're done.
I don't ever say that.
No.
I'll go by myself. Just stop criticizing me for it.
Exactly.
Because it's not your thing, so it's automatically stupid because you don't like it.
Right. I'm sick of that. And the thing is like, hey, I'm really into freaking sewing. And
I would be like, you know what? Well, I'm never going to sit here and do like a hem stitch and make a whole
Right.
fucking dress. But I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, you sit here and sew?
I'd be like,
That's
great.
fucking retarded.
Good for you. Glad you have an interest.
Number 5, this is a pretty important one, so pay attention to this one.
I'm paying attention.
Your happiness. There are times when our fear of being lonely is bigger than our wish for genuine happiness.
Right.
As a result,
Right.
we remain in relationships that don't bring out the best in us. We stay in lackluster relationships because we fear the unknown and ultimately do ourselves a huge disservice. They only have one life. Try not to waste it in a relationship that makes you miserable. Give up a relationship that undermines your sense of happiness and fulfillment during a long-term basis. If you feel unappreciated and unhappy, ask yourself why and assess whether the relationship you are in has anything to do with your sadness.
Now, every failed relationship, there's always, most failed relationships, there's always that part when you hit that joke, Dane Cook joke, the relationship, where you're just going along and people are like, how's everything? And you're like, great.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. And then people looking at you going, oh, man.
It's weird. It's so weird how relationships work because you only succumb to those realizations in hindsight.
Yes.
You never anticipate them, and when they're happening, you don't think they're as big of a deal as they really are. And then you get out of it and you go, oh my God, how did I think that was okay?
But there is that point. There is that one point, like maybe a month before the breakup, where you're just like, I'm not feeling so great, man.
Yeah, and every day gets worse and worse until
You don't even want to text her.
It's sort of like a Band-Aid, and you know that like the wound under it is like festering, and you're like,
Yeah.
I know I have to change this Band-Aid and clean this wound, but I don't want to because pulling off the Band-Aid is going to hurt so bad.
But I just remember getting like texts. I'm like, what's the complaint going to be about this today? Or, what did I do wrong this week? And
It
was just, like,
becomes
so unhappy.
it becomes a merry-go-round that you just can't get off of.
Yeah.
Because it just goes faster and faster, and until you jump, you're just going to keep getting more and more sick. Because you keep spinning faster and faster.
Yeah, I'm not good with the spinny rides.
And I'll tell you what, like when you jump, the faster it gets, that jump's going to hurt the faster that the ride is.
Right.
So, until you finally just go, I'm making the leap. I don't care how bad it's going to hurt for a while, and then I'm going to get better.
And then you don't go on the merry-go-round. 'Cause merry-go-round
And then you
sucks.
just stop going on the fucking merry-go-round.
go on like a slide or something.
Number 6, there's another big one that you might want to pay attention to. Your dreams and goals. Never
Oh,
give
yes.
up your dreams for the sake of a relationship. A relationship should be a springboard from which to chase your dreams rather than a place that keeps you chained and disillusioned.
All right.
Jealous and or insecure partners try to stifle a creative, passionate mind and keep their talented partner where they feel they can maintain control. If this sounds like your relationship, realize this is unhealthy. Happy relationships encourage adventure and help the people in it to move forward in the progress rather than stagnant.
I think that's got to go on both sides. Whatever their dreams or ambitions are, you got to support them. And I know there's some practicality when you're in a relationship too. You got to be reasonable. It's not like, hey, I want to travel the world and never see you. That's not.
No,
you
but
probably
if you,
shouldn't be
but
in a
if you-
relationship.
But if
then.
both of your dream is to travel the world, hey, chances are you're with the right person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But if you, like, for example, this podcast, if somebody walked into my life and said, wow, I really like it, but you need to stop doing this podcast, I'd be like, hit the road, sister.
I'd be like, excuse me, what? We're going to let down all 10 people that listen to this show. I am not just going to stop doing this.
Exactly. Or
50 episodes in.
Right. And 50 episodes strong, baby. So
It's just too many. It's too many to back out now.
I know, we're already in the thick of it. But to me, it's like, I remember people would, oh, that's stupid. Like, I said, hey, if I ever got an opportunity to move here and come, like, it was a big life-changing thing, let's do it. And they're like, nope, I want everything here, buy the book. And I feel like it's got to go on both sides.
Gotta be by the book.
But on the other side, it's like, if some girl wants to do this or some girl wants to do that, let them do it, support it. There's reasonable things.
I support anything you want to do. You want to go out, you want to have meth and share needles with people. Hey, you know what? More power to you. I support you. It's
I
fine.
don't support that.
It's all great. Number 7, existing relationships that are important to you. Now, this goes back to the, I think this is like a redundant one.
Right.
Good friends can be hard to find, and if you're having a few wonderful and loyal friends, never give them up for a relationship. Any partner that expects you to give up friendship for him or her is selfish and likely controlling. A healthy relationship allows friends and family to happily coexist alongside it. See it as a warning sign if your partner tries to isolate you from your friends and family.
Haven't had that happen to me. But the only times I've had that happen is like I'm sitting around like my friends and they'll be like, I gotta go. Like, I'll get this dirty text. I'm like, well, better go. Bye. I don't care.
Yeah, that's
I'll blow
actually
you off.
one that I haven't yet succumbed to is, ditching fucking people for a relationship.
And part of
which is
the
great.
things is it's like I like to have that sort of part of like slowly. It's good to keep your world separate, but at a certain point, if things are going good, they become your friend. Like you can hang out with them, and I think that's kind of cool if it can get that point. That's a tough bridge. You got to compartmentalize.
It's a tough gap to cross.
There's relationship George, and then there's friendship George.
Right.
You got to keep them separate for a while.
Number 8, your self-respect. In our pursuit of love, we can sometimes cross self-respecting boundaries that we wouldn't normally consider crossing, whether it involves engaging in behaviors that you find demeaning or whether it allows yourself to be treated in a disrespectful way. This is another sign that the relationship is not good for you. Mm-hmm. Never give up your right to be treated with respect and decency. If someone crosses this line, you should get rid of him or her right away. If you allow this treatment to continue, it will become worse and you will end up despising yourself for allowing it. This has happened to me 100%.
That's happened to you a lot. It hasn't happened to me a lot.
Well, this happened to me in one particular relationship that was just,
what can you share?
Went on for way too long. Just talked to and treated like I was a fucking dirtbag, that I was a servant, that I was less than nothing. And
so accurately.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, she didn't do or say anything that I don't agree with, but it just, when I already feel that way about myself, it made it that much worse that she was like,
she didn't boost you up.
You never do anything right, and never once when
That's not nice.
I would sort of do everything around the house. I would do all the cleaning. I would cook dinners. I would do laundry. I would mow the lawn. And it was always like she would come home and find something wrong with what I did. It's like, oh, well, you folded this stuff wrong. You missed a spot out there on the lawn. And I'm like, there was never a time of like, thank you. There was never a thank you. It was always, you didn't do this right. I can't believe that you did this way. You're a fucking idiot. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
See, that's interesting. There's a lot of, I feel like more women would relate to the no self-respect type thing, where because I see like
that happens a lot, yeah,
where guys like really demean the woman that they're with, like they like, you're not dressed up fancy and you're shit like that.
I mean, I did get that sometimes, but I mean, look how I'm dressed.
But you would never like make a girl go, you dress like shit today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
there's guys that do
never
that.
stood there and she's like, how do I look? I'm like, pretty fat. I don't say that.
Yeah.
I may think it, but I'm not saying that.
You've dated a lot of fatties.
I've had a lot of fatties on board.
How else? on board on the SS Steve.
That's right. Climb aboard, ladies, at Bad Culture Steve on Twitter. Number 9, your identity. Don't morph into your partner too much and lose yourself in the process. When we immerse ourselves in a relationship, we tend to take on the interests and habits of our partners. There's nothing wrong with this.
It's definitely their interest in lame.
As mirroring helps us to bond and feel more in tune. The problem comes when we do not have a strong sense of self to begin with, and we take on too many characteristics of our partner instead of developing our own identity. If we are too influenced by our partner, we may stop making decisions for ourselves and veer off the path of true self-discovery.
What if the girl's into bug collecting? That sounds stupid.
Well, then you better get a fucking beekeeper suit and get out there.
Okay.
Now, this one is kind of easier to... This one is easier to do the older you get. Because, like, now at the point that I'm at in my life, I have a certain way that I like to do things. Uh-huh. And I know what I'm willing and not willing to give up. Like, before, when I was younger, I was sort of still on that path to self-discovery. So I was like,
right.
I could give or take this and this. Now I'm in my fucking 30s. And I'm like, look, this is the way that I've lived my life. This is what makes me feel good about myself. This is what I like to do with my free time. And if you don't like that, then obviously this isn't going to work.
Right.
You know?
Right. And that goes both ways. I feel like, I feel like that kind of goes back to the whole support whatever interest you have, unless it's like really self-destructing. But it's a good way to learn to, weird story. My mom wasn't into sports, but she became into sports because of my dad. But yeah, I mean, don't like do something you hate. If you really hate it, don't do that. Don't become something you're not for
Look,
somebody.
I don't like baking cookies, so it would be a cold day in hell before I'm fucking sitting in a kitchen baking cookies. It's not going to happen.
That could be fun.
Well, that's your identity.
Well, here's the
Sissy
thing.
Mary, you like to fucking bake cookies.
Hey, you get that cream off the whatever that
you get that cream.
You know what I'm talking about? That I don't know what it is.
Exactly.
When you get to lick the spoon.
Cream.
When you get to lick the
No,
spoon.
because I don't like cookies to begin with.
Like cookies?
All right, number 10. We're at the last one on the list. This is the 10th.
I don't know how anybody can listen to you. You don't like cookies.
10th and final thing that you probably
Somebody gives you a cookie, you're like, I don't want this.
10th and final thing you shouldn't give up when you're in a relationship or seeking a new relationship.
I'm still hung up on cookies.
Your decision-making power. Think of decision-making as a muscle that weakens if you don't use it often. The more we don't defer in decisions from our partners, the less likely we will be to make future decisions and think for ourselves. This doesn't mean that you have to make every decision alone, but be aware of habits you may have of double-checking with your partner before making a decision, especially if it is for something fairly inane, such as a small household purchase. Think for yourself in keeping making decisions, no matter how small. This helps to maintain your sense of individuality as well as your ability to stand on your own 2 feet.
You ever get in trouble?
This is the biggest thing that I hate.
Oh, really? Okay. Here we go.
That I can't stand.
Cookies.
When you sit and you're trying to make plans with somebody, and it's something as simple as, like, say, we have to watch Gem and the Holograms this week for the Bad Movie Review next week.
Sure.
And I say, hey, let's do it on a Wednesday. And let's say that you had a man friend that you were seeing on the side, and you were like, well, yeah, Wednesday.
We're going to touch each other. Yeah.
Wednesday works great for me. Let me just check with my boyfriend real
Yeah.
quick. Let me just make sure that that's okay. I'm like, well, why? Do you guys have plans on Wednesday? Well, no. It's just, okay. Well, then why? Why are you checking? I mean, they have no say in what you do if you don't have plans.
Right.
You can tell them later, hey, by the way, I'm doing this on Wednesday. And if they say, oh, well, okay. I mean, I was gonna ask you to do this on Wednesday. And like, yeah, but you didn't. So this is my plan. This is what I'm doing. So deal with that and make new plans.
I have the one. This didn't happen to me, but it happened in a relationship. I was friends with a guy. He was like my best friend during college, and we were growing apart because of the relationship. Okay, so
because she started making all of his decisions for him.
Basically,
yeah,
everything in a check, everything in it. So this one time, her and her friend, they were going out of town. They had this they were in this like financial group or something like that with some. I don't know what from fraternity or something.
Sure, yeah, whatever. They were in the Panama Papers, right?
He couldn't go, and I haven't hung out with him in ages, and I was like really excited to hang out with him and go eat wings or go do something.
You guys were gonna Netflix and chill, yeah.
That didn't happen back then. This was before that. We just got right to.
You guys were gonna MySpace and chill.
So I said, hey man, you want to like, since you're free this weekend, what do you want to like go down to? It was like a Dave and Buster's type thing. He was like, hey, you want to go to? It wasn't Dave and Buster's, but it was like, hey, you want to go to Dave and Buster's this weekend? Then maybe like go to some restaurant, then go have a beer.
Dave and Buster's isn't a restaurant, you know that.
And he goes, he has nothing. His girlfriend is out of town the whole weekend, and I'm offering.
And he says, let me check with her.
Let me check with her.
Yes.
And calls her, talks to her, and it was like,
and she probably gave him shit about it too.
I got upset because she was actually sitting there when I asked him, and I got upset. I was like, "You're gonna be gone the whole weekend. We're not doing anything like it wasn't like, hey, bro,
you want to go to the strip club?
That's not what I
we'll
said.
go spend thousands of dollars on whores and cocaine,
right? Which is what we ended up doing,
which would be fine.
But I was just like, dude,
I'm on board with that.
It was like, let's have a friendly PG-13 kind of night, and I just was like. And I got mad. I was like, why won't you I just want to go hang out with my friend. I was so pissed.
Yeah, that's a tough one to tolerate. And
guess
that's
what? Married her, we're not friends anymore.
That's one of the biggest things on that list that drives me crazy is the smallest. I knew a couple that the guy had to check to make sure that he was hanging the toilet paper correctly. It's like,
well, which way? Is it over?
Over or under? I don't remember.
Well, it better be over.
But
that's how it is.
He's like, I looked at the bathroom. I'm like, dude, there's no toilet paper left. Oh, hun, which way does it does it go over or under? And he had to check with her to see which way to hang the toilet paper.
It's over.
And see,
That's
I'm drawing the line there. I'm like,
well, no, I draw the line. It's over.
I'm doing these small little things that I want to do to keep my individuality and my fucking sanity because that's crazy.
If you're doing under, you're wrong.
I'm probably doing under.
My mom
just
does
to
under.
spite you.
Ew.
Because I don't care.
No, over's wrong. Because over you just flap and you get it. Under, you could get your poop hands all up in there. You don't want that. Over.
So my final thoughts on this whole thing is there's an awful lot on that list that you have to be aware of. And just like with anything in any new relationship, you can be blinded very easily by some things that you might not notice right away, some things that you're doing differently, and you don't see it because you're so either infatuated with this person, you're having such a great time, this person might make you feel very special. But
sex is good.
The sex is fucking amazing.
Because
probably
you haven't had it. Comparatively, it's better than
years,
nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, well, this is better than my fucking right hand.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, not as good as my left, but it's getting there.
Oh, lefty.
So I guess what I'm saying is, you just have to don't shut third-person perspective out because those people can see the situation. And that's how I've gotten through a lot of mine. A lot of the problems that I've had to deal with in relationships is people have, from an outside perspective, told me, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This person is crazy.
And listen to that person. If it's a good, trusted person.
If it's a reliable source. If Fox News comes and tells you, hey, don't trust this, I'll be like, shut up, Fox News. What the fuck do you know?
Probably should.
But yeah, if it's a trusted friend or if it's a family member that, you're very close with, they're not going to steer you wrong. Like, they're not doing it to sabotage you. They're doing it because they genuinely are concerned that you're not acting the way that you used to. You're not being you.
Right.
And that is the biggest fucking problem that I see with anybody either starting a new relationship or a relationship that they're in. And sometimes you get so far into it and you've ignored those people that are dropping subtle hints for so long, it becomes this streamlined problem that they don't know how to solve anymore because nothing that they say you're listening to, and you refuse to believe that you are truly in a you're in a shitty position, right. And it's tough.
It's tough. But we gotta go.
So that's all I got to say about that. Make sure that you're listening to your trusted sources and your friends and family. Yeah, because they know who you really are.
They do. But we got to go. What are we doing next week?
Why don't y'all come back next week? We're pushing some serious time here.
I know.
Come back next week because Austin and I will be watching Gem and the Holograms, the ill-fated 2015 live-action release that came out a few months ago that did absolutely dismal at the box office. We can't wait to see it. That will be the Bad Movie Review next week. That and so much fucking more as the Bad Culture Crew rolls on.
Thank you for listening to Bad Culture Crew. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to check your feed every Thursday for a new episode. Be sure to stay connected with the crew on social media with @Bad Culture Crew on Twitter, the Bad Culture Crew Facebook page, and of course on badculturegroupproductions.com. We are pleased to bring you the best of the worst. Because at Bad Culture Crew, we find the terrible so you don't have to.